When love calls, a second chance at love. In the vibrant city of Lagos, life moved at a relentless pace, with people chasing dreams, dealing with daily struggles, and finding joy in the little moments. Amoka, a 29-year-old fashion designer, was one of these dream chasers. She owned a small but thriving business, creating beautiful clothes for clients across the city. Amoka had poured her heart into her work, but in doing so, she had let her personal life fall by the wayside. Most of her days were spent at her sewing machine or meeting clients. She rarely made time for herself or her friends, and as much as she hated to admit it, her life had started to feel monotonous. In the bustling city of Lagos, fashion designer Amoka unexpectedly reconnects with her high school friend Femi through a wrong number, reigniting a bond that blossoms into love as they reflect on their lives and dreams. One evening, after a particularly tiring day at work, Amoka was relaxing on her couch with a bowl of fruit and her phone in hand. She was scrolling through her social media feed when her phone began to ring. The number on the screen wasn't one she recognized. Curious, she hesitated for a moment before answering. "Hello," Amoka said cautiously. "Hello. Is this Toby?" came a deep, unfamiliar male voice. "No, I'm sorry, you have the wrong number," Amoka replied, ready to hang up. But before she could end the call, the man laughed softly. "Wait a minute, Amoka. Is that you?" Amoka from Kingsway High School. Amoka froze, her curiosity piqued. "Yes, this is Amoka. Who's this?" "It's Femi. Femi Ajay. We were in the same class back in high school." Amoka's eyes widened as memories of her high school days came flooding back. Femi had been one of her closest friends, someone she could always count on for a laugh or a bit of mischief. He had been kind, funny, and surprisingly insightful for a teenager. "Femi. Oh my goodness, it's been ages," Amoka said, her voice lighting up with excitement. "I know, right?" Femi replied. "I can't believe I accidentally called you. This is such a crazy coincidence." They began to catch up, reminiscing about their time at Kingsway High. They laughed about their old teachers, the school drama club they had both been part of, and the silly pranks they had played on their classmates. "I remember when you made that hilarious speech during our valedictory ceremony," Femi said, chuckling. "Oh no, don't remind me," Amoka groaned, though she was smiling. "I was so nervous I forgot half of what I wanted to say." What started as a brief catch-up turned into a deep, meaningful conversation about their lives since high school. Femi shared that he had moved to Abuja after university and was now working as an architect. He had spent the last few years designing residential buildings and was passionate about sustainable architecture. Amoka, in turn, talked about her journey of starting a fashion business and the challenges of running it in a competitive city like Lagos. Their conversation lasted well over an hour, filled with laughter, shared memories, and moments of reflection. By the time they hung up, Amoka felt a warmth she hadn't experienced in a long time. Over the next few days, they exchanged messages and called each other frequently. Their connection deepened as they talked about their dreams, fears, and the little things that made them happy. One evening, during one of their many calls, Femi mentioned that he would be coming to Lagos for a work project. "I'd love to meet up while I'm there," he said. "It would be great to see you in person after all these years." Amoka hesitated for a moment, her heart fluttering. "I'd like that too," she replied. When the day of their reunion arrived, Amoka found herself feeling both nervous and excited. She spent extra time choosing an outfit, eventually settling on one of her favorite dresses, simple but elegant. They met at a cozy cafe in Ikeja. When Amoka walked in, she immediately spotted Femi. He was taller than she remembered, with a warm, confident presence that put her at ease. "Amoka," he said, standing up to greet her. "It's so good to see you." "And you too, Femi," she replied, smiling as they hugged. They sat down and began talking as if no time had passed. Femi's easy humor made Amoka laugh until her sides ached, and she found herself sharing stories she hadn't told anyone in years. They talked about their old friends, their families, and their favorite memories from high school. They also delved into deeper topics, what they had learned from their past relationships, their hopes for the future, and the things they wished they could do differently. "You've always been this way," Femi said at one point, his eyes warm. "You have this ability to make people feel comfortable. It's one of the things I've always admired about you." Amoka felt her cheeks heat up. "I could say the same about you," she replied. "You were always the person everyone could rely on." Their meeting marked the start of something beautiful. Over the next few months, Femi and Amoka continued to grow closer. Femi made frequent trips to Lagos, and whenever Amoka had a break from work, she visited Abuja. One evening, during a quiet dinner in Abuja, Femi looked across the table at Amoka and said, "Amoka, I've been thinking a lot about us. Reconnecting with you has been the best thing to happen to me in a long time. I care about you more than I expected. Do you feel the same way?" Amoka's heart raced as she met his gaze. "Yes, Femi," she said softly. "I feel the same way." From that moment, their relationship blossomed. They supported each other through life's challenges and celebrated each other's successes. What had started as a mistaken phone call had turned into a second chance at a love that had been waiting to bloom.